Energy Secretary. We haven't covered that yet. Oh, the nuclear staff. We did cover this.
Missed paychecks to...
So we covered the fact that the nuclear weapons staff, which consisted of 2,400 people, were stripped down to like 100 or so people for our entire nuclear arsenal. I think we covered that on Thursday, actually. So now, apparently, it's also nuclear energy. Or maybe it is going to cover that again.
Shuttered services. Americans in every corner of the country are feeling the effects of the federal government shutdown. The impacts are showing up in everyday life, at airports, grocery stores, and even classrooms. Let's start with the skies. You've probably heard about the growing chaos at airports.
There are some individual videos about the air traffic, but you know what? We're at the point where we kind of want to summarize anyway, so let's go ahead.
Delays and cancellations are piling up as TSA employees and air traffic controllers continue to work without pay. And since the shutdown began, there have been more than 215 air traffic control staffing shortages reported at FAA facilities nationwide, and that's more than 4 times the number reported this time last year. And just yesterday, Transportation Secretary warned that if the FAA determines flights cannot operate safely, well, you can expect more delays and cancellations straight ahead.
And what's crazy, too, is that all of these cancellations, from what I understand, aren't being reimbursed by the airlines because it's not their fault. So, again, it's crashing the economy. It is devastating transportation. And it is also undermining one of the key pillars of logistics in the United States, or for any country for that matter. Air, land, and sea transportation are absolute requirements to move goods. For any country, in modern times, you need air travel, you need land travel, and you need sea travel in order to maximize your goods movement. Whether that's raw materials, whether that's packages, whether that's personnel, it doesn't matter, right? Rail is obviously the best version of that because you can move an ungodly amount of stuff an ungodly amount of distance without really any interference with any of the others, which is amazing. When you have freight like semi-trucks, now you're impeding the highway system, but for the most part, you're able to move things right along. But you still need, we happen to have coasts, so you still need those in order to move goods inland or outward, right? And then everything else is through air cargo. It cannot move nearly as much as a train or as a vessel can, like a ship, right? Like a cargo freighter. But I do believe cargo planes can move about as much freight as a tractor trailer. Now, imagine you have aircraft that are moving goods that are of a timely requirement, right? Packages, mail, produce. You can't wait 6 months to ship oranges from Argentina to, well, I guess Florida grows oranges, so that might not. You get where I'm going with this. Like, we can't sustain that. So that's why there is air travel, air shipment lanes, right? And we are on the verge of shutting down our own industry, our own logistics, due to the incompetence and corruption of Republicans in the House of Representatives. For a political stunt to try and blame Democrats. But here's the flip side. The longer this lasts, the longer this shutdown lasts, and the longer Republicans keep trying to blame Democrats, the longer the exposure of truth will have a chance to come out and start becoming the mainstream narrative. Right now, CNN, a liberal news network, is not laying this on the shoulders of the administration or Congress, right? They're not blaming Republicans for this. Give it another couple weeks and they're going to start doing that because then it'll be politically expedient for them to do so. And once that narrative shift happens, it's going to be over for them. But how many people, how many millions of Americans will have suffered in the meantime? And how far back will our economy have shifted in that time? because we are crippling our own industries. We're crippling our own manufacturing, our own agriculture, our own shipping and receiving networks. We're destroying our own travel capabilities, whether that's tourism or for business. We are destroying our own economy and our own livelihoods at every single level with every single passing minute of this shutdown. But it's a small price to pay for authoritarianism. And that's where we're at. The fascism is the point. That is the goal. The more control that this administration can leverage, the better in their opinion. And the more control they leverage, the more we are going to suffer unless we kiss the ring or bend the knee. And that's exactly why we revolted against a king 250 years ago. Because that piece of garbage was doing this shit to us as colonists 3,000 miles away and not giving us representation, overtaxing us, not listening to our complaints, forcing us to deal with these whims and these laws and these burdens. And we had enough. Or rather, there was enough people organizing the colonists to stand up and fight together. We don't have organizers anymore because every time they rise, Democrats crush those movements. So we need to start thinking outside of the red and blue box. That's the main takeaway.